Old Romanian. What is it and how is it different from current actual Romanian? Or maybe we can say, how is Old Romanian different from New Romanian? My curiosity arose a couple of weeks ago when I saw this YouTube title called The Sound of Old Romanian. So after a couple of Wikipedia searches, I came across Neacșu's letter, who is apparently the oldest surviving document available in Old Romanian that can be dated, written in Cyrillic or Cyrillic. How do you even pronounce that? Cyrillic, Cyrillic? I'll just say Cyrillic, Cyrillic. You got the point. So this is the original, which I cannot read because obviously I'm not familiar with the Cyrillic alphabet. But let's try and give it a go in modern Romanian spelling and see how it sounds like. Mudromu I plemenitomu, I cinstitomu, I bogom, daravanomu zupan hănaș begner ot Brașov, mnogo zdravie ot Neacșul ot Duclopole. Ipac dau știre, domnie tae, za lucrul turcilor, cum am auzit eu că împăratul au ieșit din Sofia și amintirea nu e. Și se-au dus în sus, spre Dunăre. Ipac să știi, domnia ta, că au venit un om de la Nicopoe, de mie mi-au spus că au văzut cu ochii lui că au trecut ceale corăbii, ci știi, și domnia ta pre Dunăre în sus. Ipac să știi că bagă din toate orașele câte 50 de oameni să fie în ajutor în corăbii. Ipac să știi cum s-au prins nește meșteri din Țarigard, cum vor trece acele corabii la locul cela strâmtul, ci știi și domnia ta. Ipac spui domnie tale de lucrul lui Mahomet Beg, cum am auzit de boiari ce sunt megeașii și de genere miu negre, cum i-au dat împăratul sloboziei lui Mahomet Beg, pre ioi voi va fi voia prin țara românească, iar el să treacă. Ipac să știi, domnia ta, că are frică mare și băsărăb de acel lotru de Mahomet Beg, mai vârtos de domniele voastre. Ipac spui domnie tale, că mai marele miu de ce am înțeles și eu. Eu spui domnie tale, iară domnia ta ești înțelept și aceste cuvinte să ții domnia ta la tine, să nu știe oameni mulți și domniele voastre să vă păziți cum știți mai bine. Ibogite veselit. Amin. Well, there's a couple of things to say there. First of all, there's a lot of words that sound a lot like Romanian, and as you saw on the screen, the words were kind of similar here and there, but there's a lot of what I would currently consider grammatical mistakes. And more importantly, I would say than this, the usage of the letter I, E, we talked about this in the previous video, you can check it out here, instead of she. Because if you see the translation into the modern, current Romanian language, whenever I started a sentence with E, in Romanian language now, it's she, which means and. So E was and in Old Romanian back in the 17th century. One of the other very interesting elements that I have noticed is the replacement of the letter E with the letter I in a lot of words, such as instead of currently oameni, which means people, plural, it's oameni. Or instead of eu, like EU, which means I, it's written as IO, you know, like the very archaic form. So I guess that's where it came from. He ends with aminu, which is currently amin in Romanian, which you usually use at the end of prayers. So obviously because he was addressing someone very important from the Hungarian Empire, I think if I'm not wrong, he was addressing them as if they were a deity. According to various online sources, the so-called Old Romanian language started at the beginning of 16th century and ended somewhere in the 18th century. In the same article, then we have a lot of historians that are mentioning that back in 16th, 17th and 18th centuries, the population that lived on the territory that is now part of Romania were calling themselves Romanians, descendants of Romans, or they speak fluent Romanian. But out of all of them, I really noticed this guy. I've not seen his name in any history book so far, so that's my fault, but he has the most badass name I've seen in my life. This guy's name is literally tranquilo, so I can imagine how chill of a life he must have had. I've been fascinated with this whole Neacșu's letter and the Old Romanian. I was unfamiliar with the Old Romanian or the letter before I've seen that YouTube title. I'll link it somewhere in the comments if you guys want to go and check out that video. But yeah, tell me, is there anything else I can find about Old Romanian or other books or things I can read? Because Wikipedia and most of Google wasn't really helpful when it came to this. But yeah, that's all from today's video. My name is Vlad, I go by WaXeN. I was your host for this fantastic lecture about, well, Wikipedia lecture, let's be honest, it wasn't that deep. But don't forget to like, share, subscribe, comment below if you have any fun facts about Romanian language or old languages in general. It can be any kind of language. I'm always curious to look it up. But that's all from today's video. My name is Vlad, I go by WaXeN, and I'll see you next time, whatever I do. Stay hydrated. So, this is the original, which I cannot read because I'm not familiar with the